Hello, it's me, Philip, again. This week I'm going to go a little bit abstract out of the ordinary here, and a lot of people used to love to play like Super Nintendos, regular Nintendos, stuff like that. And today we have the access to those through our desktops, laptops, and even some mobile devices now through the use of emulators. And today I'd like to show you how to download, install, configure, and play with emulators. Today the Super Nintendo is going to be the one I'm going to show you about. First, you'll launch your internet browser, whether that be Firefox, Google, Internet Explorer, whatever you may use. And once you have that open, you can type in Super Nintendo emulators. And it doesn't have to be a Super Nintendo, like I said. It could have been pretty much anything that you'd like to play. And it just so happens that the first link here, the emulator zone, is the one I like to use anyway. So going here, you can see that there's a pretty extensive listing for Nintendo, all the previous systems that came out, Sony, all the different PlayStations, Microsoft, the Xboxes, and Sega. And the reason I like this one is because it not only gives you such a wide variety of emulators, but the specs that they originally carried, as well as a listing with ratings of all the emulators that exist. And I do use the ZSNES, which is a very popular emulator. Once you're ready, you click that, and it'll give us a little bit more information about the emulator. Once you've read over that, you can come down here to the download link at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and click that, and it should download within a second or two. It's pretty quick. Alright, sorry about that. And once you get this file down here, it's going to be in a zip folder, and you'll have to go ahead and extract that. And you may not have everything downloaded to the desktop. It may be in your downloads folder or wherever you may like to send it to. So once we have that extracted, you can go ahead and delete the zip file and open the file you just created. And here the ZSNESW is actually going to be the emulator. You can open that, and you'll get a first run message. Once you're done with that, press the space bar, and you can see where you can load a game. You can configure the emulator, put any cheats that you may want, and some games enable internet play, and of course any miscellaneous options. But for now, we're not going to worry about those. We'll go ahead and close that out. And once we have that done, what we're actually going to do now is go to our C drive, or wherever you might keep your program files 86, and we're going to go ahead and highlight that. And once that's done, we're actually going to take this folder and place it inside of the program files. Once that's complete, rename it just for the sake of simplicity. For me, I rename it Super Nintendo. Alright, and once that's done, we'll go ahead and take that, create a shortcut for our actual emulator, and bring that back out to our desktop. And I rename this also, again, just for ease of use for me. I rename that Super Nintendo. And once we have that done, the last thing we're going to do here is go ahead and create a new folder and call it Games, as that's where we're going to be putting all of our ROMs. And for now, we'll go ahead and minimize this. Next, we're going to go back to our browser, and we can look up, since we're doing Super Nintendos, we'll look up Super Nintendo ROMs. That's usually what they're called for most anything. The PlayStations use ISOs. Anything that was disk-based will be called an ISO. And I usually use Emu Paradise. I'll go ahead and click on that. And you'll see here you can either do by alphabetical listing, or you can do by popular, like the list of the top 50, most downloaded, top rated. And this is just for the Super Nintendo. They do have quite a few other type of emulators, or ROMs that you can download for other systems like the regular Nintendo or the Sega. For the sake of time, because these take a little bit to download, I've already went ahead and prepared a few sample ROMs that I downloaded. And it is important to say that if you don't actually own these games, it's not legal for you to download them. Just a word of warning, just for the legal use of it. So we'll go ahead and open this folder. And you'll see once again these are all in zip folders. So we'll go ahead and extract all these. And I did download some of the more popular titles just that way, so maybe someone could relate with it. And once we have all three of those downloaded, we'll go ahead and delete the zip folders again, because we'll no longer need those. And as we open each one of these, we can go ahead and remove it to the desktop. Alright, and once we've done that, we actually won't even need this sample ROMs folder anymore. We're going to go ahead and return to the folder we made previously inside of the program files. We can highlight all three of those and drag them inside of games. And now that we've done that, we're actually ready to completely close this out and reopen our emulator one more time. And now that we have that, like I said, you could configure for instance, your video, if you wanted to set up certain filters, which you have to be in a, as you can see over here, you have to allow filters, and we don't currently, but that's a pretty complex task and not related to what we really need to cover in this video. So what we're going to do here is load. So once we load, we know we're in the C drive, and we know we're in Program Files 86. It'll actually tell you near the bottom there which one you're in, since there is two program files. So go ahead and go inside of 86, and you'll find Super Nintendo. Go ahead and click that, and we'll click inside Games, and as you can see, we'll have the entire list of the games that we just placed inside of there. Once you're ready, select the game you'd like to play, and go ahead and click that, and it should load up for you. And as I hit escape there, just go ahead and pause that, but you can actually go to config, and you can choose what device you would like to have. Right now I'm using a mouse, but you can actually connect a gamepad, and you can pretty much simulate completely the experience that you would have had on the original system. Again, like I said, this is just the very basics of how to use an emulator, and one of the simpler ones at that. But I've always found it very interesting that we can go back in time now and never forget some of the classic games. Thank you for your time, and good night.